Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Hey, good morning. What's going on?
It is Wednesday. It is the third day of March. We are coming off just a tough week through the week, but as we ended it, we had a huge opportunity to be on the national stage. And so just still catching up from that, ending Black History Month on such a positive note. Not what we're going through, but just highlighting the work that some special organizations in Nashville are doing.
Wonderful.
So just wanted to update you guys. Today we're going to go through, and I see Kanisha is on here. Dr. Burke, congratulations. She was elected as secretary for the Parent Advisory Council at MNPS. So shout out to you. Propel Parent Cohort. I always butcher this wrong because we're moving on to Cohort 8, but I want to say Dr. Burke was in Cohort 6. So congratulations to you. Also, congratulations to Elizabeth Hines, who was selected as the Parent Advisory Council president, and she was in cohort, as we call it, 2.5. Good morning, Miss Fowler. Miss Fowler is joining us in cohort 8. Good morning, Miss Battle, who is our cohort 3 alum, and then Jordan Majors, cohort 4. Like, this is turning out to be a good morning. Good morning, Miss Huff. And so what we want to do, guys, because for some people who missed it, we want to just highlight a couple of the segments from the BET Disrupt and Dismantle. But we also want to have a conversation in between some of the segments. And so check it out. This is an opportunity, again, to share it out. One, it's like bringing attention to what's actually going on in Nashville amongst our Black kids with the school to prison pipeline. But two, it allows them to look at some of the organizations and schools who are just doing really good work. And so I'm going to start this, and then we'll have a discussion in about 3 minutes. Let's see.
Nashville has the highest incarceration rate in the entire country. It makes you wonder, could these numbers be a function of something called the school to prison pipeline?
Let me see. Could you hear that, Sonya?
I could, yes.
But do you see it?
I don't see anything right now, no.
Okay, let me try again. Okay, let me stop share.
I could see something then.
You see what?
I could see something right then.
Okay.
Y'all see something? Talk back to us. I'm sharing now, getting people on here.
Okay. Let me try. All right, and let me play again.
Hello, Candice. Hello, Ivory.
Okay. And Sonya, yeah, you know what? It may not. Let me go back.
Yeah, I see something.
Yeah, but you don't see the video.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna let us play it. Let me try one more time.
It's dark.
Let's see. We know the internet is undefeated. All right.
Thank you. Can I get $20?
This is Dewan and his family.
And it's still black?
Yeah, still black.
Yeah, I'm gonna
cool
stop it.
You have your difficulties.
Let's see.
That's pretty cool. I just love.
Let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it.
Cool. All right, let me go to this. All right.
We tried.
We tried big time.
we tries over here. You know, trying is lying. That's when you don't do something. We tried that. We did not do it. It was not successful. That's all.
Yeah. And BET may have said, like, y'all got me once, you ain't gonna get me again.
I think it's got something to do with StreamYard. It's got something to do with the platform, because I can see now, like, when we're not on camera, it's all black.
Okay.
So it's something about the platform, I believe. It's okay. It's all good. We can talk. Hello, Candice. Hello, Wanda. Hey, Cheryl. Speak to my people. The Jordan. Look, my mama said, when you come in the room, you speak to folk.
Come on now.
We in here, we speaking to folk.
Yeah. I'm laughing at Wanda. She said trying is lying.
Yeah, it is, baby. Steve Carter taught me that. He is a multi-level market expert. He's traveled all across this country, has made millions of dollars, and taught people how to do it. And I was trying to shot at business, and I said, Mr. Carter, I'm trying. He said, Sonya, trying is lying. Get it done. So I call him my granddad. I thank my granddaddy for instilling that tenacity and that don't take no for an answer, even more in me than my mama put in me. So
yeah. So we'll start off. One thing that we wanted to do, guys, we wanted to show a few segments, but through the StreamYard program, and it's not going to let us show the actual video. But we wanted to highlight issues, things that stood out to you guys, things that stood out to us, because we think this is a huge issue, the school to prison pipeline. And for them to highlight, Propel, but other organizations like Mount Carmel Baptist Church, like Gideon's Army, like Purpose Prep Academy, like that was an awesome moment to highlight the freedom fighters in this work. And so just wanted to just start off and just highlight what are some of the parts, if you watched it, stood out to you. I know Kanisha said they saw it live, but what are some of the areas that stood out to you? And then I'll kick us off while we hear from you guys. But I think the first part of watching the kid, I think his name was Dewan, Sonya, and listening to him, I think we met that kid. We actually went over to Mount Carmel to talk to the parents and kids we went to talk to parents about the fellowship, but what was special is the kids were in there and they were more engaged than the parents. And so we were talking to a few kids, and I think Dewan was like just really eager to talk about what he was experiencing. And so I think this, kids don't like to talk about what's wrong with them. And I think even before he saw the video, just actually getting a chance to talk about it, it opened him up. And I know Miss Lawson is on here who does therapy. And I think that was really good therapy for him. And it gives you promise that we can change it around for our kids.
Yes. I want to thank God for Soledad, for our vision. But I want to also thank God for the people in this city who are fighting for these children in different ways, but it all comes full circle. And shout out to Bishop Marcus Campbell, who is probably not given as much accolade, funding, or anything else that he needs to do the great work, the important work, the relationship work with these children. And so shout out to him and Lady Stacy Campbell for the work that they're doing. And you have a partner in Nashville Propel. And I hope that we can deepen the partnerships amongst these city leaders and work together to make sure that our children win.
Yeah. And I just see Miss Huff, she said Dewan is her daughter's godson. She's had custody a while, so that's pretty deep. It's like the connections we're making in the city. I've known Miss Huff for over, 12 years, and just how interconnected we are, but we don't realize the kids that we're so close to and never even realize the hurt and pain that she talks about. Not only Dewan, but all of his siblings were in state custody for a while. And then Kanisha says, I have to say the passion that was displayed from each participant was amazing, especially the children were so impressed. What do you think about that, Sonya?
I think that it's real.
Yeah.
We started Propel because we represent our most struggling communities. All the people in our community, those are our people. Those are our children. And so when the passion is real and authentic because you've lived it and you see it, that's what you saw. You saw real people that
Mm-hmm.
are living this life. That's why they was in that docu-series. Soledad said that she want to go where the real people are, that this is happening to, in the beginning when she said it. And so everyone that you saw in there, and there were some other people who were interviewed and maybe did not make it into the docu-series, and I don't want to shortchange their work. So shout out to those people. I'm hoping, I don't know who some of those people may have been, but reach out to us if you're listening, and let's see how we amplify the voices of children and families together.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about something else a little real, like going into this docu-series, the school to prison pipeline is so real, guys. We organize and we develop parents into powerful parent leaders to ignite a movement that demands equitable education, policies, and practices. And there was the pastor, Tucker, who said, if it's not, what do you say, John? If it's not
If it's not biology, if it's not
biology, it must be policy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. He said, if it's not biology, then it must be policy. So that right there, I'm looking forward to meeting him because we all align. There is some inequitable policy and practices. And so I just think that there's so much work that we all can do together. I just drove over in my car, John,
Okay.
to school in 37208, where there was an incident where there was a fight, a ganging of a child, not gang members, but ganging of a child. That's what we used to call it.
Yeah.
Bullying, and the child was hurt. And I have compassion for children. I don't believe that people wake up in the morning and say they want to be bad people. For the most part, I think people are good people.
Yeah.
My hope, and I've been sitting here praying just silently, is that people like Bishop Campbell can get those referrals from the school, because when we take our kids down to juvenile, Judge Sheila, what's her name? Sheila Calloway said it best. It's not a place for them. It's just not, it does not rehabilitate them. It institutionalizes them. As a matter of fact, when you lock them behind those doors, they go crazier. And as Dewan said, Dewan had some struggles that interfered with his day-to-day education experience. And there are thousands of children that are experiencing that.
Yeah, and just going back to Jordan, she says you're seeing the actual community and what it's doing with the kids, different organizations trying to make a difference, not just a shooting or another death in our neighborhood. So really highlighting, and I think what she means, like highlighting what those kids have gone through, what our community has gone through. I mean, and they took it all the way back to a historical note. I know we're going to talk about Kwame towards the end, but they talked about the problem, but they talked about how we make and create the solution.
Let's talk about 37208 and its history a little bit. That part of town, a lot of people really didn't know. I mean, you hear of J Street, right? I don't think that we talk enough about Black excellence, because that's what Black History Month is about. And that was a significance too, a big moment for all of us to be highlighted in Black history. So shout out to Jordan and Cheryl and, I need to get on here because I like to call Wanda and, I like to call my people out. Because we're not a movement without our people. But shout out to our families. Shout out to Dr. Burke and Jordan and Candace And I can't see everybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to miss you, but I'm gonna call y'all's names in a minute. Just comment, let me know you here. Because this documentary, although Torvis and John and myself was in it, we did get to have one of our parents in it, Jaquez White. Shout out to her for her bravery and taking action and using her voice. And because of COVID, we couldn't have more of our parents in it, but shout out to you guys building a movement. And I think we need to talk about the history of Black people, how, you know, Black excellence was once here. And the system did what it did to destroy a whole neighborhood. It was like Kwame said, it was payback. It was it was almost like you fight and then you got a side effect, right? You fight. Yeah.
And just going back, I think Kanisha says what they don't know. Let me see. What they don't know is that, we will show up because y'all won't get our babies without a fight. And I think that's my next question, guys. And just growing up and being involved in movements and being involved in the community, some things that are going on right now. So how do we go from, we realize and like speed this up where we add capacity to the movement? Like we have a movement, we have some good things going, but I think in the process, like, it's some kids falling between the cracks. It's kids who, parents can afford to live, here. It's kids who are going to schools where they're just not getting an education at all. We read some stuff in Baltimore that was so concerning, but that stuff is happening right here in Nashville. And so what do we do? How do we move this work forward and faster with the power that we already have?
Together. We move this work together. No more fighting by yourself. Everybody on the sound of my voice, that stops today. If you have not joined this movement, it's time for you to join the movement and do your part. The quicker that you join, the quicker we can make sure that Nashville has a world-class education system where all children, no matter where they live, no matter what color they are, no matter the freaking label of a disability is, they all reach their greatest potential. Is it going to be easy? No. Folk going to protect the system. Black folk and white folk. Because protecting the system is about protecting one's livelihood or check or their life insurance and 401ks.
Yeah.
Okay. And I understand that too, and to a certain extent. But it's going to take all of us. It's going to take educators. Great educators to turn this around. We need some educators to sound the alarm, as I always say it. And say, whoop, wait a minute. Hold up. What's going on? I know I'm in this system, but this ain't right. This ain't working. Yeah. And we need for that to happen from the top down and the bottom up.
Yeah. And people are saying different things. Cheryl ends with, we talk about it and nothing is getting done. We talked about how fast our government will work when we begin the legal process for restitution. Kanisha talks about you have to show up for your children. Last week I was there for my child and ended up speaking up for other children and calling his mom, essentially like making sure the mom knew she had the power too. Jordan talked about she was born and raised in 37208 and it hasn't always been this way. Just thankful for the positive outlook. And one thing that we also don't talk about, like the trauma in 37208, like I went to bed this morning with it on my mind. I woke up with it on my mind. A year ago today, our lights went out. Well, my lights went out in Hermitage in the middle of the night, didn't come back on for 2 or 3 days. But I think in that process, I mustered up once my family was straight and I drove to North Nashville and just saw the devastation that had happened in the community. And that was like, What's that?
They just left our people out there.
Yeah. That was the tip of the iceberg. That's when it's really so we can. And I know Cheryl. Cheryl has been a freedom fighter, and I know it's so easy to get disappointed just by poor leadership, poor political leadership, poor community leadership. But I think there always comes a time where there's a resurgence, right? There's always been throughout history, there's a big movement, and then it kind of falls apart, and then it comes back. And looking at just where we are, looking at how the community came together for the tornado a year ago, looking how we came together as we were trying to develop, like, how do we make sure kids in North Nashville are educated through this tornado? And then the pandemic hit. And what came out of such a nasty moment has been an opportunity, Sonya, to really create power.
Yeah. Cheryl, I want to speak to you directly. When you say that, I hear you. And as a leader, because that's what I've been charged to do, I can make you this one promise. I won't give up. We won't give up. We're not going to stop fighting. Kwame, who passed away in this documentary was dedicated to him, told myself and John and other co-founders of Nashville Propel 2.5 years ago. He taught us about the sit-ins and the civil rights movement. And we spent probably, I think, a total probably an hour, 2 hours with Kwame, just as a group, going through the museum there, downtown library, which is beautiful. And there's something that I always remember him saying, and I still can hear him say it. We asked, like, what happened to the civil rights movement? Like, what happened? And he said, basically, that people got complacent, right? Like, you get a win, you get to sit at, like he said in the documentary, you get to sit at the counters, you get to go shop. And people got complacent. And he charged us to not stop. So, Carol, John and I, we're on here right now. You are looking at leaders, which all of our parents are powerful parent leaders, who will not stop and who will not just talk, but we will take action and build a movement of parents and grandparents and develop them into powerful parent leaders. And we're already doing so. We got 2 Nashville Propel members in the pack. That's an example. That is an example of going and following our mission. We are sticking true to our mission. So I do understand the disappointment, but it's going to take all of us. And I think that's why it takes so many of us. Because when you down, I'm up. I'm down, John up. John down, Kanisha up. And can't nobody stop that. And I think the mistake that has happened in this city is ain't nobody had nobody's back.
Yeah. And I'm gonna just show just as we can transition to just like what's next. Like one, like we know we already been doing this work, and I see many of people on the live right now who have just been in the trenches with us, who have been doing the work. But I also want to talk about what's next. And I think when Sonya talks about, the Parent Advisory Council, Kanisha Burke, first time, running for it, she's a secretary, like that's leadership. We have BB Hines, who, for the first time running, and she's the PAC chair. But we also have had huge gains around this personalized learning plan. And I'll tell you guys, Sonya and I have been reading this book. It's called the 12 Rules for Radicals, right? And it just teaches you how to hold people who are in power accountable. And one of the rules says, hold them to the rules and the policies that they create. And so if they already have it on the books, you have to hold them accountable legally through the parent power and community support. And I think there's some things that are already on the books that we have the opportunity from research to know that they should be doing. You know, we got a ton of IEP parents, individualized education plans, parents who don't realize the power that they have. And when they find out, all hell is breaking loose because they realize everything that hasn't been given to them that their kids deserve.
Yeah, I just went to a meeting with a grandparent, like I told y'all. Kid got ganged. And so at first they wouldn't even let me in the meeting. So I gave them 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes or I'm walking back there. You can deny that parent having an advocate. So I was nice. I'm going to follow your process, but you better get your process done. Take my damn temperature. Give me your hand sanitizer. I got my mask on. I put 2 on. And deny a parent having an advocate. So access was denied. And I got up and I walked back there. Whoa, you can't tell me. I know my rights. We got to know, you can't stop me from walking in the school I pay for.
Right. Come on now.
This school district belongs to the parents and students and nobody else. We run this house. So you can't tell me. Now I was respectful. But I told him, I said, call security. Didn't. When I got back there, they were finishing up with the meeting. But let me tell you something. The system worked. They patted, they smiled. We're going to take care of it. We got this going. And I looked at them. I said, hey, how you doing? I introduced myself. I said, where's the incident report? Stuttering. Not the kind where there's a disability, but the kind of, oh, hell, she know what's supposed to happen. And so that grandparent didn't get nothing in writing. She should have had a statement taken. She should have been able to write her own statement. And she should have been given a copy of the paperwork. I said it to say this is a teaching moment for everybody. That you got to know your rights and you got to be in the know. So you got to join our movement. Because we put you through training. That is what we do. We train so that you know your rights. That is the beginning. The beginning is knowing your rights. Then it's taking action with those things, upon those things.
Yeah. And I'll talk about like knowing your rights. Like today they had a press release for the new school, the Bellevue High. And they went through a timeline of how they got it approved, passed, paid for, and a date for when the doors are going to open. And I think about what we're going through. I think about what we go through in, our communities around the city. And it's like, that's why we got to get and create and continue to grow this movement, because your voice matters, your advocacy matters, your seat at the table matters. And we got to go from social media to like really in their face. Until they hear you, see you, and we're demanding of them, they'll continue to give us the back seat instead of the front seat where we're driving the agenda.
Yeah, and it doesn't always mean that it has to be something that's confrontational.
Right.
I want to, because I know I'm very aggressive in harassment. I'm 45 years old, so I have no tolerance for anything. Just like when I went to school this morning, it was nice. I got my red lipstick on and stuff, and asked nicely, hey, I told them who I was, was nice, asked politely, let them know why I was there, and did it 3 times. On purpose. So can't nobody say that I'm barging up in there. You know what I'm saying? I talk to the children, fix the little girl backpack, talk to her mama. But that is supremacy, an example of supremacy, a system of supremacy. I was looked upon as if I was nothing and that I didn't have any power. So the secretary who is in the system tried to dehumanize me, I felt like I didn't have a right to
Mhm.
advocate for somebody, and that parent didn't have a right because they didn't want to interrupt the meeting. But I saw somebody else walk in the meeting, so when I said, "Well, he wasn't in there,"
Come on now.
so
Come on.
what? He just went in there. He was brand new. He went in there, heard him introduce himself, and so that's what they do. They had this parent, the grandparent, all these little kids in there, and all they people in there talking about what they gonna do instead of what they should do.
Mhm.
Get that one going home. What you
Mhm.
gonna do versus what you should have done.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kanisha says parents need to know the jargon. Can't wait till we can be in person. Would love to have leave a communications workshop. Like, cause knowledge is power. I mean, when you know what you're owed, it's like when somebody owe you some money. Jay-Z said, if you owe me 10, you're not giving me 9. Like, I know you owe me 10. I don't want you even to short me the dollar. And so as we think about what do we want, I think today or tomorrow is going to be the first day that the high schools, and so you have from kindergarten to 12th grade back in school. Well, let me backtrack, Sonya, and I don't know if you want to talk about Baltimore, but I think we'll come to that at the end. Yeah. What do you want to see from the school system? Like, what are your kids owed from this school system? Like, what do they deserve? What are they owed? I think until we start to really address what we think our kids deserve, that way we can visually see and talk about, like, are we receiving it now? Is it even close? Yep, Ivory says today is the first day. Cheryl is Cheryl is strong. Like, yeah, we need to talk, Cheryl.
So, John, were you asking me a question?
Yeah, well, it's really a question right now for the parents who are on here. Like, what do we think our kids are owed? What do we think our kids deserve? As you know, we're about to start back school, and one thing that I remember being passionate about is we don't want to start back school business as usual. We don't want to start back school the same way we left it. We don't want the Dewans and the other kids having to experience what they were experiencing before the pandemic hit. Today is the anniversary of the tornado that ripped through North Nashville. Out of that tragedy, we talked about virtual learning, by having internet access, by having computers, by having good quality teaching. But we also talked about the personalized learning plan that through a lot of support with parents on here, that movement is growing. But we need it's time to slam dunk it. And so what are some of the things you think we need? Was that, Sonya?
Is it too much to ask
Mm-hmm.
to educate our children? Is that too much to ask?
Mm-hmm.
That's my question.
Mm-hmm. Kanisha says, stop lip service and begin action. Planning is okay. We agree, but action is needed.
Kanisha, are you speaking of the district?
Yep. That was the question. What do we want from our school system? Candace says free and equitable education. Awesome. Ivory says they deserve the best, nothing less. Kanisha stays on, the documented action. Like, it's one thing for lip service. So I see what you're saying. Like, not just lip service, but it's documented, accountability. Cheryl says, this is what I did for our parents. They deserve a good education. They deserve quality teachers. They deserve everything every other school is having. And we should stay up at nothing for less, but to get our children what is necessary to be educated.
Thank you, Sheila. And you know what? You amazing too. I can't wait to meet you.
Yep. No one, but no one has really asked what just went along to get along. It's time to move them out of the way and get our children taken care of. And Cheryl and I went on some undercover missions, weeding out the BS. And so I know Cheryl is a rider.
Looking forward to John. Can you connect us?
Yep. I'll do it after this.
Yeah, I would love to meet Cheryl. Laquita Phillips. First for some. Elaborate on that a little bit.
Oh no, she was saying first for some around the first day of school.
Oh, first for some. Okay. Yeah. Let's see some of these other comments in here.
And so, all right. So the question is, as we move to action, guys, like what are some of the things that we can do? Like who are people? That's the question, right? Every week, like I've noticed since we started this show, and it was either March or April. Every week we have new parents who jump on it, and I really appreciate that. And we get a chance and we reach out to those parents, we connect them. Dominique, Candace has probably missed 2 sessions since we started. She is a ride or die. Kanisha's been on here speaking to parents about issues that we think are relevant. But who are the other parents that we're missing that we need to be engaging? Like somebody sent something to Sonya about the lunch meal they were having at East. It looked like trash, less than trash.
It looked worse than now. Okay, so what y'all don't know is I ain't been to prison, but I worked in the penitentiary, death row, name it. And let me tell you something, they ate better than that. But I do have a question, John, to piggyback off you saying. Is it the food? Like, think about it. Is it the food which is the problem? But what's the real issue here? The real issue is not valuing our children. You're not gonna come to my house and I feed you slop. That means I don't value you. I don't respect you. So the problem is the food look nasty. The issue is the lack of respect, intentional love, missing from that food. That's how I saw. I saw the food. I saw the beans. I saw the corn look dry as hell. It looked. My daughter just busted out laughing. That's something she was 21. That's something she would say. It's her favorite word. Something as hell. But anyway, I thought when I saw that, the first thing I said was, "Okay, that's a problem." The issue is, if you feed my child that, what are you teaching them? What knowledge are you feeding them?
Yeah.
We help parents to identify the real issue. They're gonna, if you kill the issue, you ain't gonna have no problems. School lunch is a problem. Driving, that's a problem. The issue is those children are not being valued. And what are you feeding their brain? If you would feed that in their body, what are you feeding their brain?
Yeah, and we know food, they say health is wealth, so you eat what you are. We know that's pretty true. And so what I saw on that plate, it wouldn't even be good enough for my dog. The dog get leftovers, but at least we feed the dog fresh leftovers. And so those beans, that corn, I don't know if that was a hamburger or a rib. It's like you said, like, how do they view our kids? And if they view them like that, to even put that in front of them, like somebody had to push that tray and look at their food before they serve, and didn't look at it and say, oh, hell no. Then again, like it transitions over to like, what are they teaching our kids? How are they educating our kids?
When we went to school, I would say that the education system was probably just as poor as it is now. I'm going to tell you the difference, though. One of the differences is the intentionality of it. On our team, we have what we call Campaign for Excellence. Excellence is intentional. You don't get to excellence just by planning. You get to excellence by being intentional about everything you do, you say, your thoughts, and the end result is excellence. What I see missing is a Miss Smith or Miss Lanier or Miss Parrish or Miss Smotherman when I was in school, or Miss Nancy Startup who whipped my butt when I made a D. I don't see the love. I do think there's a lot of teachers that love and are doing like extra things. I know some got Miss Kidd, Miss Ross. Like I know some teachers that I personally, my children have interacted with. But it takes an overflow of intentional casting of love and intentionality. It starts from the top down. And I'm not saying that Dr. Battle does not have that. But have you all ever like tried to pour something into a bottle or out of a bottle, and it just trickles down? It seems like something is impeding it coming out. There's something getting in the way of the vision getting to the children to make it happen, or getting to the staff and everybody on the team, which is, you've got your central office staff and you got your superintendent, you got your MNPS people, you got your children and your parents. None of that is getting to the right places. That's why we see dry beans and corn. That's why you have children who are not reading. That's why you got children who graduate from high school with a 14 ACT and they're valedictorian. Because of the lack of intentional action in this district.
Yeah. So Laquita says there is no love in the school. Parents, I know it's hard, but we need to take our time to see about our kids. Our kids act different at school than at home because they are trying to fit in. And I'm going to tell you from someone who worked at a school, right? The school in the past has not just been welcoming, right? I always talk about the school needs to have the red carpet, because the first thing when you come into a school, who's the first person you see, Sonya? I mean, you're going to know. Who's the first person you see when you walk into the school? Who's like the gatekeeper?
The school secretary.
The school secretary.
Hallelujah. Good morning.
Yep. What you here for?
How can I help you? Or how can I help you?
Mm-hmm. And with that, like, we got to hold, like, parents with love. I mean, there have been plenty of parents who have tried to come. They want to sit in their kids' classroom, and they have been told that they'll be more of a distraction than help. And so we have to see schools and listen to school leaders and principals who are saying they welcome it into their school, so we can again feel comfortable. Like it's not the same. You have a gatekeeper, and again, Sonya had to bust her way through. When she come in, the secretary, I already know the lady's back there talking about a huge issue. Her son's head was busted open, and the gatekeeper as a secretary is like, I just want you to wait here.
At first, he didn't know what I was talking about.
Oh.
So I went through that whole, I know the spiel. First, I don't know what you're talking about. Ain't nobody here. So I saved him. I said, save all that. I hear them back there. I can hear the conversation.
Yeah.
Gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Who so the hell left the gate open?
So one of the things that we want to do, guys, and I'm gonna tell you some new people. Like, I always shout out the people who are loyal and appreciate that. Like, we have gotten a lot accomplished within the last 365 days because of each of you. But some of the new people that I haven't seen before, I see Laquita on here. My friend Cheryl has jumped on here. Cheryl has been in the movement. Ivory commenting today. Ivory must be off work. I think she was in cohort 3. Victoria, who has just been a rock star, front page Tennessean, discussing her story. Like, we are going to be reaching out because now it's time to move and really to grow this movement and to apply pressure like it's never been applied before. Like Nashville, we are losing people, parents like you guys, your neighbors, your cousins, your uncles and aunties, because Nashville is becoming hard to afford to live. And we have to have a sense of urgency to get to our people, to educate them around what they deserve. Definitely education, but on the short end, housing, like what they deserve, because if not, we're going to continue to lose a generation of kids. And so we are going to move with urgency. We're going to be reaching out to you guys who are on here today about setting up small group meetings as we think about the personalized learning plan, as we discuss the school to prison, the pipeline, and then as we look for parents who feel like you feel like something has to be done today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but today.
And now.
Yeah. And now.
And now.
Yeah.
Because we are losing children at an alarming rate.
Mm-hmm.
That data, when Judge Calloway was talking about it, 98% of the children on the data she was talking about was Black children. I believe her, and I don't really talk about this, but almost a month ago, I had the horror experience of being down there for a family, just helping a family out. And let me tell you something, guys. Juvenile and DCS, that's not where our children belong.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
There is nothing down there for them. There's no help for parents. This children's court that Judge Calloway was talking about, I want to talk to her about that. I ain't never heard that. These children, if they're not learning anything in school, then they're not gonna care. Like, if you're not learning nothing, why would you have hope for the future?
Mm-hmm.
Be real.
Mm-hmm.
At what point would you even think that you could even travel the world?
Mm-hmm.
I heard that baby on the documentary say she went out of Nashville, but she just said out of Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Are we helping them to dream? Are we taking them anywhere? Do we take them to at least Chattanooga anymore, to Rock City, like we used to go?
Yeah.
Do we help? Are they going to be able to go downtown to the Black Historic Museum? Did they even know that we had a part in the library, downtown library, that talked about the civil rights movement?
Mm-hmm.
Do seniors still take senior trips?
Right. The simple things, like that we just, man, all those things you're naming, I don't even before the pandemic, I don't think we did it because they said it was budget cuts.
I got some friends that I'm going to introduce to the district that do a virtual learning experience with people in Taiwan, in France. See, sometimes you can just take children there if you're skilled enough, and help them to understand what the world looks like, that the world that they're living in, they don't have to always be there. My mom always told me, Sonya, your baby, they ain't gonna be babies always, right? You know, when I would have a hard time, 4 children, sometimes 6 children in my house, she said, they ain't gonna be babies always. It ain't gonna always be hard. And we need to make sure our children know that they got a way out. And it don't always have to be hard. And sometimes they got family issues, right? That's not their fault. Maybe their mama getting the hell beat out of her. But we got to help them to have a way out and know that they can get out of that situation. And I don't see this city doing that. They go down to juvenile court, they lock them up, and there's no rehab, no rehabilitation, no looking at what caused those children. How about just asking a few more questions?
Yeah. Oh, that's rough. Yeah.
It's heavy.
Yeah. So people on here, and again, shout out, saw Laquita, she's saying Mr. Chappelle. And I tell you, you know, McKissick is a priority school. I don't know what status they're in right now, but you know, last year around this time. But I'll tell you, he laid out the red carpet for people to come to his school. He had donuts for dads, muffins for moms. One of our fellows, the Thompsons, he said he was there every day. And so that's what we need. Instead of trying to hide the issue, open it up. And so as a community, we can fix it. So shout out to Mr. Chappelle, because I'm just seeing different notes about his school that says, that he's opening his doors and laying out that red carpet.
And you know what, Mr. Chappelle, we gonna be there. Hold on, this is the school district right here.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. So guys, I see it. It's Sonya just dealing with a kid that had a serious injury. We're gonna end it right here. Thank you guys. I see the movement. I'm gonna be reaching out to you guys. Cheryl, I'm gonna start with you. Laquita, I'm gonna come to you next. Dr. Burke and Victoria, you guys are already in the movement, and we will see you guys next week. Just one thing that we got coming up, we got a few events that are coming up. Just wanted to keep you guys' eyes on this again. We got the March 16th campaign training for our alumni. Cohort 7 is graduating on Thursday, and so you guys will be available for that. Of course, you know it always starts at 6, from 6 to 7. We got the speaker series on the 22nd of March, which is the 4th Monday. And then the 27th, we have our annual parent summit, where we're going to have 200 to 300 parents right here in Nashville attend. And so you'll be getting more information about that as we send it out. But again, thank you guys for coming out, and we will see you guys next Wednesday at 11.